Hello guys, welcome to another problem in this series of coding. Today we are going to do the problem number of paths. Let's try to understand this problem. The problem is to count all the possible paths from top left to bottom right of a m cross n matrix with the constraint that each cell you can either move right or you can move down. There are only two options. Let's try to take an example to understand this. We'll build a complete solution using three approaches and we're going to optimize and see which is going to work best. Okay, so let's say we have to reach the last cell of a 3 by 3 matrix, right? And you are supposed to start from this particular position. How do you reach here? So there are different paths to reach here. Okay, first, let's see, we can only move right or you can only move down, right? So you can have a lot of paths to reach here. Like you can take this particular path and reach here, or you can take, let's say, this particular path and reach here, or let's say you can take this particular path and reach here. So you can observe that there are a lot of paths to reach from the start to the end, and you are supposed to count all those paths and find the answer. Okay, so it may seem overwhelming, but it is actually easy once we build up the logic. So let's try to understand what is the logic. Let's go step by step. You have to reach the last cell. You're coming from somewhere, right? Let's just take one step previous. Okay, so from where are you coming? Can you come from here? No, you cannot come because you're not allowed to travel diagonally. You can only come from two positions. Either you come from the cell left of you or you come from the cell above of you. There are only two ways because you are allowed to only travel right or down. So you can only come from these two cells. Okay, we have figured out this at least. So now if we somehow knew the number of ways to travel from these two places, we can just add those ways. If we knew, for example, there are x ways to travel from the left cell and there are y ways to reach up to the above cell, we can just get our answer by doing x plus y. So this is the simple logic, right? So how do we get x and y? Do we know x and y? So it's like a boss is asking his, junior, tell me the answer. Just solve the problem. Junior says, I don't know the answer. What am I supposed to do? So he asks his junior, and then he asks his junior, and there's some guy who's stuck with an infinite amount of work because some other boss wanted it. Okay. Anyway, so we don't know x, we don't know y also, but how can we find them? So they both don't know the answer. So what they do, they pass on the responsibility. How are they going to pass on the responsibility? The same way this cell did. So what are they going to do? They are going to ask the cells left and above to return their answers, and then they will add their answers and get to the answer. Similarly, y is also going to do the same thing. It's going to ask its neighboring left and above cells to tell the number of values so that we can return the answer, and all the cells are going to do the same. So what is there? No solution. Does no cell know the answer? Let's think about it. Which cells know the answer? Okay, let's think about it. So we are starting from the first cell, right? So you can notice that the cell just neighbor to this cell is having only one way, because if we are starting from here, this cell does not have any other way. It has only one way, this direction to reach here, right? Similarly, this cell also has one way, this cell also has one way, right? Only and only one way. You cannot reach this cell from any other way, right? No other way is possible to reach this cell, because you can only travel down or right, and right is not allowed for this cell because you don't have a cell here. So there are only one ways to reach the top row and the top column cells. So they know the answer. So thankfully they know the answers. They can pass on the answers to others, and others can return the answer to the boss finally. So that is the simple logic. So let's do that. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So they get the answer 2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. This guy gets the answer 3. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, right? Finally, you can return the answer, which is 6. Okay, this is a simple recursive approach. Let's write the code for it and then we will optimize it. So what is the base condition? This is just a 2-line code. That's why this problem is very simple, but understanding the logic is very important. So if m is equal to 1 or n is equal to 1, you can simply return 1, because there's only one way to reach all those first row and first column cells, right? But if it is not, then what you do? You have to ask your neighbors for the answer. So how will you do that? So you have to ask only two neighbors, right? Left neighbor or above neighbor. How do you do that? So just number of paths. If you do m minus 1 comma n, okay, if you do the call to your above neighbor, right? M minus 1 means you are going above. That will return one value. You have to add that value to whatever your left neighbor is returning, and that will give you your answer, right? So that's it. This is the simple logic, and you can happily solve this problem. But is this the correct logic? We will have to check. Like, this is fine and we can submit and see it will get accepted. But the problem with this approach is, okay, let's see what is the problem with this approach. So let's see why this approach is not the best approach. So see here, what is happening is there is a lot of repetition and memory waste and use of resources wastage, because you are asking the same thing again and again. Okay, let's see what is the problem. So okay, let's try to understand it this way. Suppose you want to know, okay, you are going to make recursive calls to the same cell again and again. Okay, let's see what I mean by that. So I'm going to go back and let's show you the problem with this particular approach. Okay, so till here it is fine. Okay, now let's say this cell wants to know the answer. It doesn't know the answer. So what it's doing, it is asking its top cell and left cell to return the answer. What is this cell doing? This cell is asking the left cell to return the answer, right? And then getting the answer. Okay, so for finding the answer by this particular cell, right? By this particular cell, which is okay, for finding the answer for this particular cell, which is 2,3, you are using this value, right? You are using this particular value. Okay, now let us take another example. So let me erase all this and let us take another example. Note that the cell which was at 2,3 was using this particular value. Okay, now let's take another example. Let us take this particular cell. Okay, what is this particular cell doing? Okay, let me take this cell. So what is this cell doing? This cell is asking to this cell, and this cell is also asking to this cell. So you are using the same value. So the cell which is at, let's say, 3,2 is also using this particular one. Okay, so both the cells are using the same value. Why do they need to keep asking again and again, right? If there was some way we could store these values, we could save so many recursive calls. That is the problem with this approach, that you are asking the same answers again and again, right? So if you could store the answer, so it's like, that's why you take notes in class. You can't study the same lesson 1,000 times, right? You take notes so that you can study them later whenever you need them. So it's something like that. So you need not waste so many recursive calls. So that's what we are going to do. Our next solution is what? It is going to be very simple. We are going to start, first we are going to fill all the topmost cells with 1, right? All the cells are 1. Now once we have 1, we have stored. Okay, we are going to store the values. Previously we didn't store any values, so we were wasting a lot of recursive calls. Now we are going to store the values and just do 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 6. That's it. Very simple. Once you store the values, you need not make the recursive call and use the cells again and again, right? So let's erase this and optimize it. So how are we going to do that? To store the values, you will need to declare some matrix. So let's say it is vector int, let me call it mat for matrix, which is going to help us store the values. What will be the size of this matrix? So it will be m cross n, right? Same, because you need to store the value corresponding to each cell. And how are you going to store the value? So initially, actually, you can give everything as 1. So let me do that here itself. So I'm giving everything as 1. Now let me start iterating over the values of this particular array and just use those values. Okay, so I need not make a lot of recursive calls now. Okay, I can just use the values that I have. How can I do that? So let's see, you want to find, let's say, m of ig. By the way, it will not start from 0 0, because it will start from 1 1, because see, you have already made all the green color values as 1. You need not do anything. To find the blue color values, you need to iterate and use this particular loop. Okay, so to find that, you can just reference your neighbors. You can reference your top neighbor and your left neighbor. So it's just similar to the last approach. We are also using memoization here. We are using storing the values. So that's it, and you can finally return the answer that you get at last. So it will be m minus 1 n minus 1, and that should give you the answer. Let's compile and run and see if this is working. So this is also fine. Let me just submit and see. This will also be an accepted solution. Now let's try to optimize this even further. How can we even optimize this? Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me expand this so that we understand this even better. Okay, so all this is fine, and let me just, okay, let me do one thing. Let me erase everything and create a new okay, new matrix. Okay. So let's start creating, and we'll do a bigger matrix. Okay, let's say we have something like this. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, please don't mind my drawing. Okay, let's start filling the values. So you know that initially you're going to fill values 1. Okay, now, how do we actually optimize this? The thing was, we are using a 2D matrix. Is it necessary to use a 2D matrix? We can optimize the space. How can we optimize the space? We can use a 1D matrix itself. It's not necessary to use a 2D matrix. That's what we are going to do here. Okay, so how do you do that? I want you to make one observation. Okay, so 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, now you are filling the next values. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay, now observe. Now when you want to fill the next cell, you're going to do the same thing, right? So for finding a particular cell, you are looking at the cell above and the cell left. You are doing the simple thing. Okay, you need not do that thing. Okay, so okay, first let's try to understand and take the approach what we are taking previously. 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 10 is 20, 20 plus 13 is 20 plus 15 is 35, 35 will be our answer. Now I don't want to do this. Okay, let me use one single instead of a 2D matrix, I'm going to use one single row, one single vector to actually get the answer. So what we can do, observe this. 1 plus 3 is 4, right? So I can store 4 here. Now I already have the value 4. Okay, I already have the value 4. So if I replace this 3 with 4, okay, 1 plus 3 is 4, and I'm going to replace this 3 with 4, and I'm getting my answer 4. Next, 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay, and then next, 10 plus 10 is 20. Next, 20 plus 15 is 35. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. So what did I just do? I used the previous values itself to find the next value. So this is the answer for this particular row. But what did I do? Did I use this particular space? No, I didn't. I used the previous row itself. So I'm going to replace the values in the previous row itself and just have a single vector in place of a 2D matrix. It's not needed. We are going to do it in 1D. Okay, while writing the code, it will be much more clearer. So let's do that. Okay, so we are going to first of all just declare a single vector. So what shall I call? Let me call it dp. Okay, and it is going to be of what size? It is going to be the same size as n. Okay, now let us start iterating. So we are going to do the same thing. Okay, initially I can give all values as 1. Now let's iterate. I equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. Okay, and for j equal to 1, j less than n, j plus plus. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to store the value using the previous value. So dp of j plus is equal to dp of j minus 1. That's it that I'm going to do, and I can finally return. Okay, okay, by the way, here it is going to be m minus 1. Okay, and I can finally return. What can I return? I can return the last answer, which is going to be my answer. So dp of n minus 1. I can run and see this. Okay, it is working fine, and I can submit and see. So this is going to optimize the space also. Okay, so let's try to understand this even better if there is some confusion. So let me replace it and show it once again so that it is more clearer. So what were we doing here? We were actually building the code using just a single matrix. So what are we doing, right? Let me write this and complete this. So for building the next particular cell, right, you are using the previous values itself. So what did I do? How did I build? I have to build these four values. Okay, and how can I build these four values? I don't need to, take two cells every time to build a particular cell. What can I do? I can just use the previous value. Suppose this is my previous row, right? Only this much was stored. Okay, only this much was stored. This all is not there. It is just a single. Uh, vector. Okay, let's say I just have this much in my memory. Using this, can I build the next row or not? Can I build the next row or not? Of course I can. So how can I do that? So 1 plus 3 is 4. I replace this value 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. I replace that value. 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 plus 15 is 35. This is my next row. Okay, this is my next row that I have built. To build the next row after this, I can do the same thing. I just need a single vector. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 10 is 15. 15 plus 20 is 35. 35 plus 35 is 70, right? I can keep on building rows like this. So that is a simple logic and we have optimized everything. So that's it. Thank you for being patient and listening.